So y'all want to tell me that WHITEFOX needed to be buffed so much that she's essentially lost her role as a dive support, which is one of the most unique forms of support and strategist within the game. A lot of people have it in their heads that I'm some type of strategist simp or that I'm always advocating for them. We gonna have to discuss this because I ain't gonna lie, y'all are getting soft and Unc need to bring out his belt. Let's get it.
Gave opinions, wasn't needed. Came clutch with a buzzer beater. Beast feast and he eats the beat. Whatever's left, let the buzzers eat it. Quick with it, clean record. Mayweather, undefeated. He came and he saw and he conquered. I got a slay at the concert. You know the story, the tortoise in here. You want the glory, your nose in the air. I couldn't care less about your money, phone, and your pair of shoes and your side hose.
What's good, YouTube? Big Unc Chaos here to give you all my thoughts and opinions on the changes to their recent characters within the game of Marvel Rivals, and an overall discussion around balance. I see a lot of my colleagues have been talking about this, but I'm going to be focusing specifically on WHITEFOX and why she did not need the buff she got. If you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, hit that hype button, and let Unc know what other topics you're interested in hearing about, because Marvel Rivals, in my opinion, is actually at one of its healthiest points. Rather, it was for the changes they made to WHITEFOX. Now, for those of you who are confused on exactly what I'm saying, I want to specify this. I don't believe that every character needs to be a main healer. I don't. I think that it takes away a lot from the game. I think it interferes with certain comps and strategies, and I think having off healers allows for a more aggressive approach. That's why in the triple support compositions you always see, they recommend people having things like an Atom or an Ultron or, something along there to deal more damage proactively. Now, when I look at WHITEFOX, I look at her and I imagine someone who's essentially forming a role that we haven't seen before. She's like Spider-Man to me when it comes to strategists. And I say she's like Spider-Man because she's obviously meant to be a dive character. Now, a lot of people have it in their head that fighting in the neutral is the only way to play the game. And I gotta say, this is not it. This is not the mentality the community is going to need if it wants to be successful and if it wants to last in its longevity. I, for one, understand completely the irritation of having weak strategists. But if you're gonna tell me WHITEFOX is weak because she didn't have self-sustain, then you just want another Invisible Woman. And I gotta be honest here, when we look at some of the characters that are mainline healers, what are some of the arguments we hear people discussing? Oh, we don't want you to be a pocket princess. We don't want you to be a heal bot. Okay. Well, then you get the off healers, you get the Atoms, you get the Ultrons, and now everyone's like, well, there's not enough healing going on here. We're not doing enough. But she works in such a unique way. Look at the motion I just made. I got in and got out. Imagine if I had like a Spider-Man or a BP to help me reposition. I think that type of playstyle is so unique to her. She's one of the few strategists that can do that. I mean, yeah, you've got Ultron who can fly, and I guess you've got, Atom who can now also fly. But if we're being completely honest with ourselves, a lot of the characters in the game, a lot of the strategists and support characters, whatever you want to call them, feel similar. And maybe it's just because of the fact that the overall role for them is similar, but let's be honest here. DPS, duelists, whatever we're calling them, they don't all play the same at all. Even when they have the same mission, their styles are different. Whereas I notice here, especially in Rivals, people have in their head that supports are only allowed to play one way. And a lot of this is coming from the support players. Now, I could do a whole video on the fact that they've been banning 6 different stacks of strategists in ranked and, when that's been happening, how annoying that is. But that's not the point of this conversation. The point is to talk about, literally WHITEFOX. Some of you have to understand that the last thing we need are more mainline healers. Look at the ult right there. How many of you want to fight against an ultimate that's impossible to kill through? Isn't that the reason everyone's been banning all these mainline healers so we didn't have 30-minute matches? No one wants to play with someone who's got like that long of longevity. I understand it. It totally makes sense to me. It's perfectly reasonable. But there is another approach that no one's considering. The proactive style of fighting and combat that WHITEFOX gives you. These buffs, to me, the only one that made sense to me was the inclusion of the 5 tails upon ulting. Because, that's like basically starting off with your maximum charge. That makes sense. But overall, she's not meant to be a character that heals bots. She's not meant to be a person that's keeping everyone alive. She's meant to form as a dive assistant. Your Spider-Man, your BP go in, bink, 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 bink. She teleports there. They last a couple seconds. She goes claw mode and finishes people off. That's good. All of you say you don't want to be heal bots. All of you say you don't want to just, front. That's why people like Jeff and they like Atom. Well, she's the character for it. However, with the clear buff to her healing output, especially the individualistic approach to it, you can't deny the fact that they're forcing her into a similar role. Now her healing is, I mean, it's much better. It's substantially better, and arguably she's acting as if she's more of a frontline healer now. Before, you'd have to go around the side, hit people off the walls, tie them up, spit in their mouth, spank them from the back. No Diddy, no Drizzy. But now it's like, oh, I'll just survive. And I won't lie, as someone who plays her, oh yeah, the changes are great. But that's bias. And let's be honest here, that's complete bias. Your character being overtuned is not the answer. Your character being better than they should be is not the answer. Your character getting outside of their roles is not the answer. Imagine if Groot was all of a sudden healing people with his walls instead of defending you. Imagine if he used the Mantis team up to actually heal his teammate. That wouldn't make sense. When you put characters into these categories, you're basically saying that you want them to play one way, linearly, one-dimensionally. That isn't how it goes. And more importantly than that, that's not fun. That's not gonna help the game. Each of these characters were meant to be unique in their positions, their styles. I mean, look at Jeff. He got in so many different reworks. While I'm not against the idea of reworks to help people improve, I'm certainly against them when they don't need it. WHITEFOX was fine. And I don't know why people have in their head that she wasn't, but she was fine. I had no issues playing with her or playing against her. She was a neutral character. And to be completely honest, I would much rather have a character who is medium or undertuned than overtuned, because then you can make those changes. She feels like a character that's not going to get banned every 5 seconds. She's not Invisreal. She's not Gambino, Childish Gambino. That's Gambit for those of you who don't know. She's just a good character. I think that all the value that she provides on the flank, the dive angles, that's a great point on exactly why we want her to stay how she is. With these changes, we've now basically told the community that, hey, if you complain enough about healing, we'll make sure they at least have the healing. But that's not good. We don't want that. We don't want 20, 30-minute quick play matches. We don't want an hour-long rank match because everyone's alive. Before, she worked perfectly in a composition of true triple support. Out, an off healer, 2 mains. Heck, she even worked within the tradition of actual 2-2. And that's because of the way she played, a more proactive approach. You have to heal less if you kill more people. So her being able to take this aggressive style, this aggressive approach, is beneficial to her team. It's not a nerf. It's not negligent. For some reason, everyone has it in their head that it's a bad thing. So much to the point the devs emergency patched her. That doesn't make sense. Blade still sucks. So why are we giving certain characters the glove of love and everyone else is getting the fondle stick? I think the best thing they could have done with her is left her alone for at least a week. I mean, she just came out, and sure, I'll admit, it did suck not being able to heal, but that's the important part of this game. It's a team-based game. It's teamwork. So if I'm not getting enough heal, boom, move behind my invisible shield. Maybe fall back. It's a reminder. Because guess what? For the first time ever, a strategist has to play like a duelist or a diver specifically. They can't just go in, keep themselves alive, exist forever. They have to actually apply pressure. And they gotta know when to hold back and when to attack. Overall, I guess I gotta say that when it comes to these changes and these nerfs, I'm just a little bit disappointed that we had them. I think that WHITEFOX was great. I think a lot of people are gonna take the wrong message from this and think that heal botting is the answer for the community, and it's not. I think the most beneficial thing we could do, honestly, is have less and less of these people who are just pocket healers that are impossible to kill, that can walk up in front of an enemy tank and 2 DPS and exist, Gambit, and have more characters that need to rely on their team. I honestly was on the approach of giving everyone a huge nerf, taking away the healer stats, taking away the strategist stats, cutting everyone by 30-40%. Fortunately, that's not what we ended up getting, and it sucks. It's unfortunate, but what we can do to mitigate this is stop complaining so goddamn much. WHITEFOX isn't anyone's favorite character. We all know that. No one's over here thinking, wow, I love WHITEFOX. She's so cool. No one's thinking that. And because she's not. Most of you didn't even know she existed, which is totally fine. That makes perfect sense to me that a lot of you wouldn't have an idea of who she is. But when you want the game to be balanced and fun, you can't remove the dev's ability to create a new character initially. Otherwise, what's the purpose? If you truly want this game to be balanced, then I would highly encourage all of you to take a deep look at the character baseline. Look at how they operate, look at what they do, and ask yourself, am I enjoying this game? And honestly, if the answer is yes, which I really find it hard to believe with all the changes they provided, if the answer is yes, then maybe we complain a little bit less specifically about things we don't need and focus more on the fact that Elsa is still broken and needs another nerf. I mean, her health is whatever, but like, that over health and bonus health she gets is gonna make her impossible to take out. So those are just my overall thoughts and opinions on it. I think that, in general, Marvel Rivals isn't a good season. I like this season. I've been enjoying it. I've been playing more Rivals than I had expected to lately at all. But I'm not happy with the overall whining in the community that every single healer's gotta be a main one. If you enjoy this type of content, let me know in the comment section. Be sure to hype the video, show me some love, and tell your auntie I said hi.